What is that? Oh, look. Money. Money, money, money. It's everywhere. We're gonna be rich. What? 100%. Sorry for that goofiness. On today's episode of Backyard Science, we will be testing to see if 3D prints are strong enough to withstand abuse in Airsoft. Now, as you can see, I've got these tokens, and each one comes with a different percent sign on them. And these were kindly, or I guess the file was kindly made for me by the owner of Basement Art. If you haven't seen his stuff, go check it out. I printed these, and each one is a different infill. 10%, 20%, 30%, all the way up to 100%. And all that means is the amount of plastic on the inside of each one of these discs. This one, obviously, there is no airspace, and this one, there is only 10% fill or 90% airspace on the inside. Now, obviously, when it comes to 3D printing, infill isn't the only thing that's going to affect the strength of your build. Certain things like the walls or the amount of wall loops on the outside of the 3D print, and different types of materials are also going to change that. Different amounts or sizes of layers as well, and I can't adjust for all of those things, so for now we're just going to check out infill, and I made sure that each one has 2 wall loops. We also want to make sure that we know this is printed in ASA plastic, which is one of the stronger plastics available on the market. It's also heat resistant and capable of handling weathering, so it won't warp or it won't get destroyed if you leave it outside. Now, to test this, I brought out a replica that has been on the channel for the last few weeks, and we've been upgrading a bunch of different parts. This is my Action Army AAC C1, and on the inside we'll be running CO2. Specifically, the reason being is because it's a little colder outside, and these CO2 cartridges, the high power ones, are super strong. Let's load a new one in and we'll check it out. Now, just for reference, I'm also probably going to freeze my hand off here. It's probably a good idea to wear gloves when you do this. These CO2 cartridges are 8 gram. That shouldn't affect anything, obviously, and we're not shooting enough rounds where it's going to drop in power very quickly either, so I'll grab that in a second. But the amount of velocity that comes out of this should be around the same. We're going to take our new CO2 cartridge. I'm going to toss that in. You can see it is not pierced yet. So the power is going to be as high as we can get it, and then we're going to chronograph it so you can see where it is firing at. About tight. Okay, not enough spewed out. We're still going to chronograph it. Oh, that's cold. What a doofus. Now we have to take a CO2 cartridge, or a brand new one. We'll throw it back on in, close it on up, and then next we're going to take our mag and toss it in. This is a full mag filled with 0.20 gram BBs. Toss that guy in place. Pulling out our chronograph, and we're just going to make sure that this guy is set for the 0.20s, so we have to adjust it. And 0.2s. And you can see up on the right here, we are set for 0.2 gram BBs. Now, priority is to make sure we get a reading on this. I'm not going to fire it more than once, just because I want to make sure that we save as much CO2 inside of there as we can for our next 10 shots. 3, 2, 1. There was no BB in the chamber. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're looking at 467.3 FPS. And up on the left here, you can see that is 2.03 joules. Now, as we take a walk over here, you can see this disgusting contraption. All this does is allow me to hold these small little chips, and it will not be moving, so those are nice and sturdy when we do fire the replica at them. Now, we are starting this from only a short distance away, obviously so that I don't miss it because these discs are pretty small. Beginning with our 10% infill target in 3, 2, 1. I mean, it's pretty safe to say 10% infill isn't going to handle it. There is a huge gaping hole directly out the back. Now let's see if the 20% infill even close to stands a chance. BB in the chamber in 3, 2, 1. It does not appear that the 20% is going to fare much of a difference here. You can see we have a shot straight through with some residue or remnants of its remains spewing out the back. You can see that? See kind of how much infill's in there? It's just like some, oh geez, shredded the inside of that. It's like a maraca now. When throwing the 30%, pause this video for me and do me a favor, just be honest, before we continue, what percent do you think is finally going to stop it and there will be no marks on the outside of the print? Popping that guy in. Fresh BB in the chamber in 3, 2, 1. That same thing, wow. We are again straight through, shredding the insides. Oh, the exit wound is evil on this one. That one, it almost seems like with more infill, it had more material to like toss it out the back, and it just pulled the outsides with it. Now, I don't think 40% is going to do much of a difference. I think we'll start to see a difference really towards like the 60% range, but we'll see. We are now loading a fresh BB in the chamber, and we're going to take this one out in 3, 2, 1. Oh, interesting. Now, I don't know if it's the direction we hit it, or like location we hit it in, but we do have an indent. It tore up the insides, and there is also a little bit of exit damage there. I don't know if you could see that. I wonder if the BB is still on the inside. We'll have to take a look in slow motion, and obviously you guys will know in the video after I edit this if it did go inside or what happened, but it almost looks like it pushed some of the plastic against the back wall and started to cause it to peel. So 40% still isn't going to hold up. This is a 50%. We are now at the halfway mark here. I love reviews. I love teching, but there's something about like just backyard science that's fun. 3, 2, 1. Oh my God. 50% basically just told me the BB is his now. He owns it. It's still in there. 50% ain't gonna hold up. Yeah, no, it's definitely taken out a small section of the rear too. But the BB is now lodged on the inside, so we're strong enough to keep it inside, which is kind of cool. It's not strong enough to handle it on the initial blow, like up in the front of the face of it. Now this is where I thought that we were going to have the most success, is when we hit like that 60% range. I don't know, but we'll find out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Well, I lied. That is unbelievably satisfying. It is just straight wedged directly in there. I still feel it raised a little bit, so it didn't make it all the way through. It's still puffing out the front. We'll see the back. The back looks unscathed. All right, we're getting somewhere. We're using CO2 because it's getting cold out. Really cold. Almost there. 70%. I think we're going to indent it. I don't think this one's going to make it inside or keep inside, but I think it'll definitely indent it. This might be the first one that fully ricochets back at us. All right. We absolutely ricocheted, and I think we're at a point now where we're taking so much, it's not allowing it to pass through or into it, so it took enough force now to where it actually fell off of the clip, and you could see we now have like a moon-shaped crater on the front. Definitely ricocheted, and no exit or wound in the back. All right, 80%. I think we're going to get a smaller indent. It's really cool to see how this all kind of like lays out and comes together. I also think it's pretty safe to say we can expect a ricochet. So remember, safety goggles on. So this is the 80%, and it's kind of interesting. So we did have a crater. It's a little bit smaller, but it almost looks like it caused it to, like the power from the initial contact point in the center, caused it to blow out the sides, and it took a little bit of layering off of the face of it. The rear, is that a crack? Yeah, look at that. Got a small crack in the back. That's interesting. So it almost looks like 80% did worse to the face and worse to the rear. No, 90%. I don't even know if 100% is going to be able to handle it at this point. Let's see how 90 goes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, maybe 100% will handle it. So 90% did a lot better than I thought it would. We have a small, very small, almost unnoticeable indent right over here. I don't know if you could see that. Obviously, it would leave some wear, but it's not going to... I lied. So it almost looks like it started to, chip out the back. The front handles the blow really fine. I think the inside, though, not super pretty. I wonder what the inside damage is. Obviously, it'd be fine if it was on a replica, but long term, that might cause a problem, especially if there's some moving parts on the inside over here, if you were to like build like a body kit or something. So that's something to keep an eye about. And last but not least, is it worth filling the entire puck or your entire print at 100%? Here we go. Moment of truth. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's see what we got. Very small, almost unnoticeable indent. And the back is completely clean. Just to sum everything up really quick, we'll take another fast look at all of the pucks. The 10% blew straight through. Exit wound is disgusting. 20% blew straight through. Exit wound is a little bit better. 30% blew a hole in it. Exit wound is horrible. 40%, the initial hole looks smaller, but the exit damage is not super bad. A little bit of movement of material on the inside. 50% consumed the entire BB with a small crack in the back. 60% ate the BB just at the face, and the rear is pretty much clean. 70% we created like a moon crater, and the rear saw no damage. 80% looks like we kind of exploded the sides of the impact, and the impact was not super bad. The rear took a small crack. 90% we had a small indent with a very small crack in the rear. And 100% we have almost negligible damage and no damage on the rear. Just one last thing I want to show you. We're going to clear this eye out completely, turn back on the tracer unit, and I want to take the sniper and show you that we are still at 470 FPS and 2.06 joules. So we're almost right on the money, and we didn't lose much power at all. Now, obviously, this isn't set in stone. You're not always going to be shot by the same FPS or joule output. You're not always going to be shot from the same distance. Your prints are going to be thinner in some areas of whatever you're printing and thicker in other areas. So whereas you might have a thinner 100% infill and it may cause more damage, you might even be thicker and it may cause less. So that's something to keep in mind. Your wall loops are also important. The amount of infill is important. The material you're printing in, whether it be PLA, PETG, ABS, ASA, nylon, you name it, the pattern of the infill is also important. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the end-all, be-all. However, I mean, 100% can't hurt, especially if the part's small. If it's big, you may want to go lighter because it's going to eat up your roll of filament. Hope you had fun. If you liked these results, let me know in the comments below. If I missed anything and I should have done it differently, let me know as well. And if you want more backyard science or backyard testing for airsoft, let me know as well, because that was really fun. I'll catch you on the next adventure. Thanks, Basement Arms, for making the file for me. Peace.